You are listening to Terrifying True Stories. Tonight, you'll meet someone who worked at a tow yard where a tragic accident cleanup went horribly wrong. When 3 blue barrels containing human remains were forgotten, something began stirring that no one could explain. Tonight's episode is The Girl in the Barrel.
This is the story of the girl in the barrels. And the way it starts is a truck driver leaves Fresno, heading north towards Merced, just passes Chowchilla on Highway 99. He sees a truck in the slow lane, another semi-truck, and the lights are flashing as a hazard. So to go ahead and avoid him, thinking he's not even on the freeway because it's on a curve, he's thinking it's actually off the side of the road. Little did he know, as he comes up on this truck or gets close to it, all of a sudden, a woman and a car appears in front of his headlights, and he has no idea. And actually what had happened is this woman had hit the back of the semi-truck and spun off and ended up in his lane. So he creamed the car and her all at the same time, and then she went underneath the truck and became disembodied in different parts and ended up skidding over into the middle lane, into the middle between the freeway. Then he gets out, realizes what's happened. The coroner comes and takes what parts they can get, and they take the truck. They load it up with a tow truck and take it back to their yard. The towing company, the same company, but they've got another division that does cleanup like that. A couple of days later, they come to the yard. They take him. Basically, it's like a big blow-up swimming pool. You put it in the truck in there. They put it in the tow truck, and it's in there. And then it has these walls that blow up all the way around. Then what they do is they proceed to use a pressure washer to wash the intestines off of the driveline, all the bits of hair, their hair and skull pieces on the back that were still, all the stuff that they couldn't put in the bag. They washed into this big tub area. Proceed to put a pump inside there, and they have these blue plastic drums that are plastic on the top with a lid on them. And so then they proceed to pump 3 barrels full of her remains and the water they used into these 3 drums. Then they put it back over in the corner, but the drums are what become interesting because they were supposed to be picked up by a biohazard company, but they weren't. So they put them on a pallet over in this corner of the yard, and now it's getting to be springtime, summertime, and the heat's coming and nobody's picking these drums up. The woman in the barrels are still there. And then all of a sudden what's happening is I'm starting to see things at night, like movement off the side of my eye. Something would move, but I couldn't see it. Drivers would come in to drop stuff off, and their hair would stand up on the back of their head. They'd see motion. They'd hear things, not like voices, but something else. And so this poor lady sits in the barrel, and then it gets to be later in summer and happening. Finally, they go ahead and pick her up. And that was months and months later. So this poor lady sat there and fermented in these barrels for months. Nobody even knew anything about it. After that, it still happens with all that stuff there. Meanwhile, the truck is still sitting over on the other side, and there's still something going on with the truck too. So nobody parked by the truck out there. Nobody wanted to go by the barrels. Typical California weather in wintertime before Christmas, so it's hazy and cold. And it went through that. It went through all the rain. It went through the spring where you're getting warm, cold, and then went through full-on hot summer. Still nothing. She just sat in the barrel. She was on a pallet outside on 3 barrels up against a fence. There was no warehouse. She was out in the elements the whole time. And the only thing on there was a little sticker, red and white border. It said Biohazard, had a number and the company name on the bottom. No name, no nothing. And meanwhile, they buried what was left of her already back in the wintertime. If somebody's watching you or you see a little blur eye or hair in the back of your neck would stand up, even when they washed it all. I found hers with scalp underneath where the tire was, places they didn't go. And it had this distinct smell of not rot, but of something. The truck was just equally as bad. The truck stayed there. They never did anything with it. Nobody took anything. It sat there. They could have repaired it, but they didn't. It took out the front axle, the engine, everything was there, but it just sat. They didn't ever want to do anything with it. And so then finally this last year, they cut the truck up and scrapped it out, but it's been there for all these years sitting there. That's kind of the story of the girl in the barrels.
I'm your host, Ryan Azevedo. I'll see you on the other side.